Everybody, this is Voice of the Voiceless, 91.3 FM, WCUW. It is your boy Truth It, and I am here with...
I'm Trooper Joe.
This is
I'm
what,
keep
Jordan?
it real for you. And then Jordan.
And we got Jordan in the house. Jordan, how's it going?
Keep it really real for you.
Okay.
Keep it
Yeah.
really real.
So, how was everybody's week? Did everybody survive the blizzard that we had?
Nope. I'm dead.
No.
Yeah.
Do you get cabin fever, Troop? Do you get like tired of being stuck in the house? Because I know you like to go out and work
Yeah,
out and stuff.
I like being in the house when I have something that I'm supposed to do.
Mhm.
But then again, I don't like being in the house because I'll munch and eat and walk around and be, doing all that nibbling stuff that you shouldn't do because you get anxious. Yeah.
That's exactly what I did all weekend. Just
Yeah.
munched and ate things I shouldn't have been eating.
But
Did
you
things I
enjoy
shouldn't
it?
have been doing.
Man, I love it, but it's the coming back out of hibernation that kind of get me.
Coming back out of hibernation.
Yeah. You all like, you sleep better when it's snowing, sleep better when, you know what I mean? Then you gotta go back out to the real world.
Yeah, you do. You even if it's just a little bit of time, you get used to being stuck, and you get used to being in the house, and it's hard to get up that next day when it's time to get back to normal. I had that problem, at least for me.
I had to get them, put the snow blower. Yeah, I didn't shovel this year, folks. I did not shovel. No, still got that hamstring pull I'm working through, but it's coming along pretty good.
All right, you got a snowblower, Troop?
Yeah, I got a snow blower. Got a big old giant driveway. Got a snow blower.
Yeah.
Sidewalks and mail. Snow blower.
I got good neighbors because my neighbors came and they started, they saw us trying to shovel our sidewalk. He just came over with the thing, just went up at once and just threw all the snow on the side and let it out. I guess that was a chivalrous thing, wasn't it?
That's good. That's being a good neighbor.
Yeah. That reminds me of Archangel: A Return to Chivalry that airs every Wednesday from 3 to 4 on blogtalkradio.com/
There you go.
Archangel: A Return to Chivalry.
And Facebook Live.
And
folks.
Facebook Live,
Live.
facebook.com/ Archangel
That's right.
Chivalry.
That's right. And this week we'll be talking about courage.
Courage.
Courage. That ball of courage. Not the ball of courage, no.
All right.
Bottle of courage.
Courage. Ball of courage.
Bottle of courage. You can't get no courage out of bottle. Can't get courage out of bottle. That's tune in to find out how courage works.
Tune in.
So, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump ain't got no courage.
he ain't got no courage at all.
Uh-oh.
He met with the Japanese Prime Minister,
Yeah.
and that went good. You know, it's so sad now that whenever he meets with people, I get relieved because I'm like, okay, good. That means at the time being, we ain't going to war with this country. So Japan's like off the we're going to war list for now, for the moment.
Why would we go to war with our allies?
Listen, is China our ally?
China's not Japan.
Is China our ally though?
Everything
China
over here
is
made
our-
from China.
They're our
Made in
competition. Right?
So, all right, so China may be our competition, but like I thought for a second, we were doing so much curtailing to Iran that I thought Iran was an ally almost
Yeah.
because we gave them billions of dollars and we let them have their nuclear program or whatever they wanted to have. So it seemed like we were at least cool with them for the moment, and then Donald Trump came, and now all of a sudden they launching missiles every day in defiance. North Korea's launching missiles in defiance. Everybody's launching missiles in defiance of Donald Trump. Yeah.
I don't think they're just doing it in defiance of Donald Trump, but I think they're doing it because they actually can.
Well, they can now. Do you think Iran would have launched those missiles if Barack was still in office?
No.
Right. So it's because in defiance of Donald Trump. Then.
Well, you could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they might have, but I don't think Russia would have been in the position that it's in now if Obama was still in office, and I don't think that Israel be doing what it's doing if Obama was still in office. So there's a whole lot going on over there. So just the little sentences that people are just taking out, kind of. Oh, this is a good sentence. Let me take this one out here, and we'll just blow this one up and make everything scary for the people in America.
And I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
That's what Will said. You know, now he's the
I'm
one
scared.
Jordan's scared.
I'm terrified.
All right, true. So since you're you seem to be the most level-headed one in terms of being calm. Yeah, you are. But how do you?
I'm scared over here.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how close do you think we are to going to war before the end of the year?
The end of the year,
Before the end of the year, yes.
I think there'll be posturing. I think, and the posturing is going to come from Israel. I think Israel is going to be get caught doing something that it's not supposed to be doing. Israel does a lot of things it's not supposed to be doing, and then they get away with it. I haven't figured that part out, but I think that those type of things are gonna add to the threat of war. I think it's going to move us closer and closer to some kind of war, but I'm not sure which country it's going to be with. It's not going to be with Russia.
Okay.
Not going to be with Russia.
So
It'll probably be with Syria or Lebanon. One of the Middle East countries will want to take over.
Mhm.
I think that's what's going to make the thing go closest to war. It's not that we're going in there on some human right issue to bring about some change for all the women and babies in those countries. No, we're going in, going to take the whole thing over, and we're going to annex it to the United States or Israel. One of the two. I'm not sure which one's going to want the annexing, but I think that's what's going to start to play out in a little while.
So you think that someone's going to, you think America's going to be brought into war due to being an ally of Israel? You don't think we are going to go in direct war with someone because of our interests outside of Israel?
I don't think we're going to go into just because of our interests outside of Israel.
Right.
No, I don't see that. But I see us going in there on Israel's behalf, and then we're going to want to annex the place instead of like we've been doing, just go in there and we take over nothing really. We just kind of block it in so we can put in sanctions, and we actually control the growth and development, but this way we'll just take the whole thing over.
Right.
Then we don't have to bring the refugees here.
So that's
Bring them over there.
so that's Donald Trump's foreign policy so far.
What?
His foreign affairs. He's starting off a little bumpy in his tenure as president.
Boy Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how do you think Donald Trump has been doing in terms of at home affairs?
How do you think, Jordan? What do you think?
Home? Well,
Yep.
you ain't no homie of mine. So let me, when I speak of this, I try to keep my ears, in tune to what's been going on. But the more I close my eyes and turn the other cheek to this, like it literally shows up at my front doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I walked outside in City Hall, right across the street, really from the studio,
Mm-hmm.
and I go to Dunkin' Donuts, and it was a little crowd in front of City Hall. I kind of noticed, but I didn't really pay no attention really. I kept it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
When I went Dunkin' Donuts, got a couple of donuts, sat down. 5 minutes later, people flooding from every street downtown. I'm talking about with some. I'm in the middle of this. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm just like,
This is downtown Worcester.
man, this was downtown. It went from nobody on the street except for that little crowd to the whole city coming out, man.
Yep.
I'm like, what's going on? And then, once I, finally got the 411 about the immigration, it kind of took me aback a little bit. Like, yo, this is really real right here. Like, this ain't just TV. Like,
all right.
Well,
So did you find out what was going on?
Yeah, it was due to the the immigration.
Here we go.
It was due to the immigration.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. I don't. It's kind of like, cause I know a little bit of history. You know what I mean? And the same thing I see in this president is the same thing I saw in
Can you speak it to the mic a little bit more?
the same thing I saw in this president, the same thing I saw in Hitler. I'm gonna just be real. So right about now, my main priority is stay out of jail.
Stay out of jail.
Stay out of jail. 'Cause
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, for real, because if anything goes on as far as war, the first thing going down is behind behind those cells. You know what I mean? Shout out to my brothers behind them cells. In them cells, man. That's
Okay.
real.
So Troop, how do you think Trump has done as far as affairs at home? We already talked about how he's doing things abroad. So basically, how we're doing abroad is we're just waiting for someone to get upset enough at Israel to where we got to go and step in and have Israel's back. So everything.
Stop saying we, man.
Everything
Ain't no
about
us
America.
US. Ain't no us
Listen, you,
US.
hey,
Don't
listen, when
care
they throw
about-
bombs over here, it's hitting you too.
Man.
If they threw a bomb in America, it'd be hitting you too. So Troop, how do you? How do you? About Trump at home issues.
It all depends. It all depends on what your passion is and what your ideology is the way they're measuring Trump. This country's made up of so many different ideologies. But there is one common denominator in this country, and even if some people want to say that's not true, there is one common denominator, and it has to do with our pleasures. We like things.
Yep.
And that's how we measure stuff, you know. We got the poorest people on the planet wearing $200 sneakers. And then justifying that by saying, well, I should be wearing $200 sneakers, you know?
Yep.
Because I bought them.
Right.
You know, but you should be doing something else too. You know, should we be at home trying to take care of all the people that's in here that's on different kind of programs and stuff like that? I think so.
My word.
I think we should be doing something for that.
All right.
You know, and I also think might get in the house. I also think that I'm gonna pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of guy anyway.
Oh boy, there we go.
But yeah, well, that's what people say. Like I said, we have that one common denominator where we like our pleasures,
Yep.
and we're not gonna give up our pleasures. We'll give up freedom before we give up our pleasures. And whatever the pleasure is that we might like. A lot of people, we got such a drug epidemic. That's because a lot of people they like to get high. I ain't gonna lie about that. It's like,
All right.
yeah.
So I think Troop, you gave kind of the state of America. I was asking a little bit for how do you think Trump has done so far in terms of the country? So you have to go by his actions. So he tried the Muslim ban, and that got turned. They shut that down. They just said the Muslim ban. So he basically failed in that.
but he failed in that to get the Muslim ban through.
Yep.
But he succeeded in keeping his word to his constituents.
Yes.
So
Okay. Facts.
how's he doing? If you didn't vote for him, then he should have never done that. If you did vote for him, he's doing all right.
All right. We got Dred St. Mike in the house. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Say Mike,
Fred, you here?
Mike talk a lot, Negro Spiritual, Beautiful Mind, on G1 Man Gang, Mike Cameron, I'm in the building. Yeah,
In the building.
Trump, man.
Tell us
Yeah,
back.
I agree with the brother. I've been saying he's Hitler. I don't call him Trump anymore. I call him Hitler.
Okay.
And people would try to speak to. There's some people say that's hyperbole, that's exaggeration. Like I'm telling you, this is foresight. Like it's like when Hitler wasn't Hitler when he was building to be Hitler.
Okay.
Right?
He was getting laughed at, like Trump getting laughed at right now.
Okay.
We passed the laughing part now, right? He's a
Yeah,
president.
he was getting laughed at.
And the thing is, the way that my brain works, man, and it frustrates some people, because I always thinking like parallels, like my brain thinks in analogies, and this is really like being like a black man in America, and with my background, I'm very sensitive and familiar with like extreme violence, man. And Trump is one of them dudes in the neighborhood. You like some dudes like you got if you got a problem with him, like you gotta handle it a certain way.
Right.
And he's like a rabid dog, man. I mean, and what you see right now is even with where he put the Muslim ban and he got rejected. I feel like all that's still a fake out. There's a bigger plan that like right now,
Right.
the people are like, oh, this way, oh, that way. You know, it's one thing that we're already in that's happening, right? So you just need to make sure that you fortify yourself.
And he already said he's looking for an alternative to do something even tighter. To
I
make
saw
it even tighter.
the lawyer, the Jewish lawyer too, on Alan Dershowitz on CNN, and I said Jewish because he felt his tone was very pro Muslim ban, and he was supposed to be like the legal consultant on it, and he was saying from jump, he was like this is actually good for Trump. He was like that just means they need to go back and rewrite it. He's like let that
Right,
go.
that's what he said.
And
That's what
rewrite
Trump
it.
said.
And I was like, why are you it sounded like he was giving him advice, man. He was like, cause he was gassing it, and he was like, as soon as I seen that, I was like, oh, okay, something like this is like you don't know deep down who's really a Trump supporter, right? And
Right.
and people, I reject. Max Kellerman said this a lot. That when people say politics and people can have different opinions, yeah, that's true. I guess like and even that, I mean, it is true, right? But that doesn't mean there's not consequences for differences of opinion, right? And especially what your opinion is, right? And so again, I go back to if your opinion is I shouldn't be here on this planet, or people that look like me should live a certain way, that's more than a difference of opinion, right? And so what you see right now with Trump's all the Trump supporters, and you can't tell me whatever you support, whether it be tax cuts, if you're saying that that's more important than what he's doing to people.
To wipe you off the face of this
That
planet.
says something about you.
Like they'll wipe you off the face of this planet.
I'm saying all to say this. There needs to be this is different. There needs to be accountability for Trump supporters.
All right. Okay. So here's my thing quickly. I really think that Trump, he did attempt to do it, the Muslim ban, the way he did. Maybe it was smoke and mirrors because he knew it was going to end up ultimately getting rejected. And I honestly I didn't think about that until both you guys just said that about how Trump could be. This could have been, he could have foresaw this and he has something else coming down the pipe because we do love to celebrate hard when we have victories. So, but one of my things that I really hope that happens with Trump is that I hope he goes into Chicago. I really hope. I've never thought once I'd hope for martial law. Listen, just yesterday,
Law.
a 11-year-old and a 12-year-old girl, both shot in the head within a half an hour in Chicago. Like, how much, when are we going to do something? And I know everybody says martial law, oh, what about their civil rights? Like, I'd rather have no civil rights and be alive and until for the time being than just to be dead.
So here's what like
Boy, that hurt my heart.
Like the
Valentine's Day, he just broke my heart. It's Valentine's Day, he just broke my
I'm sorry, I
heart.
didn't mean to break your heart, man.
to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, people.
That's me.
Which
Who?
I'm saying is actually it's actually necessary. We'll say, well, that's an indictment on the community. The men and the women should have done better as that's for, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see.
I'm saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in addition, you can't speak to that without speaking to the circumstances that creates this. I don't even need to see the faces. I mean, I just know that this is black bodies dying, black children dying, right? And you can't talk about. You have to talk about why people are doing it first. If you want to disrupt why it's happening, right? And so like this, it's not just hey they don't know any better or hey they don't care about life. Well, I mean it is they don't know, but it's not. It's an oversimplification when people talk about what's going on there. When you talk about solutions there, right? So
We gotta have solutions. We gotta have a solution.
And it has to be actually like rooted in disrupting the factors that create that, like generational poverty and generational institutionalized systemic racism. When you cut people off,
No.
see, here's the problem, right?
No.
And so, but I'm gonna say wrap up, and I want Troop to respond to this.
Yeah,
and this is why you get like you can't there's a reason why people do it,
Right.
So if you have to understand why they do it, and then you address that, when you say no, black people are godly people. We held white people's children and fed them, and we could have killed them while we slept, and we didn't. Instead, we killed each other. Why? Because we were taught to kill each other. And until we understand that and appreciate that, we're gonna be stuck with a disconnect.
Okay. True.
Yeah, Troop coming in here, folks. I'm gonna say about this here, the solution. You gotta have a solution, but you gotta see the problem for what it is today. Today's problem in Chicago, I'm just gonna look at Chicago just as a little microcosm, but it's not a true representation of all minority people, all poor people in the country. Today in Chicago, most of the people in Chicago are under a tribal type of government that they put in themselves. And it's not new. This is what they put in. They replaced the family structure with the tribal structure of a leader who they say, oh yeah, that's my man, he the boss. You know, he this and everything. This here. They're living in some kind of for them a utopia. This is the way they want to be. You know, if you're not doing it my way, then we're going to have a problem. You know, how are we going to solve this problem? We're going to solve this problem by going fist to fist. No, are we going to shoot or cut or something like that? So they're taking the element of the future out of it. All they got is a present, and the present is something that resembles a distant past that they don't even know anything about. That's why they got so much. They resolve problems over there, and it must be because it's happening all the time. I could be wrong, but it must be that the way they resolve problems is they shoot you. You know, how you gotta correct that situation, and that situation ain't coming about systemic racism. That ain't coming through some institutional racism. That ain't coming through any of those forms of racism that have been befell upon black people at all. That's coming through some tribal misunderstanding of what a tribe is.
All right, troops. But what I think what's happening is that I think you're both right. Honestly, I think you're both right. But there's a timeline. So what you're saying, yeah, there's a timeline. Like right now, I think we have to stop the shootings. But in the meantime, that should be priority right now.
Who you gonna send to say stop these shootings? Trump. Look, when you send
somebody, did you see what they did in St. Louis? You see what they did in Baltimore? They can stop the shootings if they want.
Listen. I mean, because violence begat more violence. You know what I mean? So when you try to neutralize the situation, send somebody at least that my black behind can relate to. Like, how can you tell me something and expect me to actually follow what you're saying, and I cannot relate to you? You like this, let's say we'll say Trump. Like, you're some billionaire, silver spoon-fed guy. You don't know the struggle of you know. You probably don't know the Raymond Noodle struggle, the sugar water struggle, the mayonnaise salmon struggle. You don't know that struggle. So when you come down here and you try to tell me to stop shooting this guy, like, hold on, you don't.
So we should go ahead.
You can't even stop your own war that you started across seas, talking about the home that you don't even know of at home. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Somebody at least be relatable. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. I hear what you're saying, fam, but I think that that sentiment is where most people on the left, the social justice side, of my experience, is landed. Like you're speaking to a sense of fairness. It was never designed for them to care about your struggle. It was designed for them to create that struggle for you to stay there, and for your children to be in there, and for your grandchildren to be there. Mm-hmm. So that's playing out. He don't care about your struggle, right? It's supposed to play out this way. So this tribal community that you're talking about is actually a degradation of political factions. These are political parties that was taken, where the leadership was systemically displaced and imprisoned. White supremacy. This is the institutionalized racism. They took out the leadership. Mm-hmm. They dismantled they destabilized the black home. They took the man out of the home through numerous ways and left them and overburdened the mom, and then left the children with all type of PTSD just by being black. And if you don't address these, this is what. But now here's but to the point about the guns, right? Here's again. This is where we continue to overlook the horses in our face. These are not gun owners that are committing these. These are illegal guns. Right. There is a pipeline into our community. We don't own these guns. We don't own these fields. They get into our community. How? So when you look at this as a person, remove yourself from all the bias and emotion. Yeah. As a scientist, how are they getting there?
How? Well, that's the issue. You're making out the black people to be Sambo stupid.
What they are. Well, I mean, that's the unfortunate in America. Like, that's what they reduce it to, and that's oversimplification. But when you see
we identify the violence,
we have taken the word, we taken NIGGER and put an A on it and try to assimilate that. That in itself is a microcosm of black people, the mentality of black people. That is stupid. Yeah. And we have very intelligent people try to rationalize it. That is self-hatred. That symbolizes black people in America to a T.
You're getting closer now, but at least for me, when you say that is self-hatred, I think there's a lot of self-hatred that goes around with a lot of people in the black community and stuff, especially the African American blacks.
Facts.
Not African blacks. Not
no other people outside niggas have this history. Like you can't spend 400 years dehumanizing people, making them less than apples. Like you, the less than produce, and then expect them. Then after that, like you had with the vagrancy laws and the loopholes that actually made them in a lot of ways worse than slaves. If you can imagine that, because nobody cares about you now. At least you were property before you were protected. Now all these hateful devils can kill you now, right? And so they just gave us semi-voting rights now, like for 50, 60 years now. And then you expect these people to stand upright. No, you have to accept these people. They've done a job on us, man. They've done a job on us. And until we can accept, until they can accept that, you have to accept. This is why you see people like this, again. This is a parallel. You see people who walk life out with no self-awareness. They blame other people for their for their stuff, and you have to look at yourself, right, and say, "Damn, I got some issues, but these are why these issues exist." And then when you do that, then you say, "Damn, it's not me." Right, I am this loving person. You have to learn to love yourself, and that's what Black people need to do collectively: learn to love ourselves.
I agree with learning to love thyself and looking at thyself and everything. I believe that wholeheartedly. That's my whole issue on. I can't do it.
A return to chivalry every Wednesday from 3 to 4 on blogtalkradio.com/Archangel. A return to chivalry. Also on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Archangel Chivalry.
That's all 1 hour before the 5 o'clock shadow.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. People need I think people really took a look at yourself and find out who you are, who am I, and why am I there, and then put aside this innate fear that nobody talks about death. All these people, even though all this killing's going on and everything, people are so afraid of dying that they're going to seek out all the pleasures that they can find in this world right now. And I think that's part of the problem. It's easy enough. We just put it in marijuana. Useless.
No.
Yeah. Some people say, nah, it's good because I smoke it. It's all right. I don't, to me, okay, you voted in. It's not a big old deal and everything. It's useless. You can get high if you want to. You don't need to have everybody else tell you to get. You're sitting on one side of the space saying, you got all these white people telling you, they put us in this situation and made us like this here. Now you say, well, thanks, white people. You let me smoke marijuana. You let me vote it in. They voted it in. It's like, why did the black people vote it up?
There's a difference between liberty and freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to give up freedom for to get that split.
When you talk about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's not life, freedom, and pursuit of happiness.
No.
It's not. You can live within these laws are right for you.
Can I just say something quickly? We are not talking about liberty and pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, we are.
I'm talking about Chicago. I'm
That's
talking
the
about
same
people
thing,
getting
man.
killed. I'm talking about 360 something shootings already, and we're only in the middle of February. We're not even at the.
How is that
wait.
not like liberty and pursuit of happiness?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. He one of the guys. You will sign. Look.
Yep.
You will sign yourself up, even though you African American, right? I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
You're African American. What you saying is, hey. You saying, hey. Oh my fault. You saying, hey.
Yep.
These little hoodlums, they messing up our environment.
No, I didn't say that.
I'm saying that.
Well, pretty much.
No, I'm not saying that.
So look, the world need to be a better place. So kill all of us, including yourself.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. No, that's not what I said. And this is
Bomb Chicago.
Let me be clear what I said. People can't take a joke. Let me be clear what I'm trying to say.
It's hard to tell a joke when you call for martial law.
You see what I'm saying?
So, right.
You
Martial law is not bombing.
yourself as well.
So there's a difference. There's a difference between life and happiness and people wanting to have their way and me wanting to stop people from killing each other immediately. 360 something shootings to date, 70 something murders and this year, and it's only February 14th. Something has to be done immediately. All of that talking about why you're this way and mayonnaise sandwiches and all that stuff can be done as soon as we stop the killings and sit them down and get them to listen. But like I said, both are right, but it's a timeline. Stop them from killing each other first and figure it out.
In order to sit my young behind down and listen to you, you have to be relatable to me.
Stop them
to hold my
killing each other
attention.
first.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
know what
not
I
stop
think
them
needs to
killing.
be done? I think that in Chicago and other places have this high crime in. We just arm the grandmothers with a big old gas and bell, send them out there and beat their little grandchildren.
Listen, man,
But I'll be right behind them. I put them grandmothers right out front and tell Junior, you get your silly little self on me before I beat you to death. I'll be standing right behind you.
You can't see the system is set up.
I
The
think
system
violence
is
is
set up so
sometimes.
that you cannot raise your children, so that by the time they get of age, the system is now raising your children. So once they create a problem that you could not correct as a child, right? Because of if you chastise your child, DCF is coming into it, right? So you cannot discipline your child. So once they get of age, now your child is being snatched by the system because you weren't able to discipline your child. That's why they're building more prisons than schools right about now. And there is a if you can't see that, Mike on
disparity and balance, right? Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Here's my pushback on that. This whole discipline thing. I have 3 children, and I'm not giving myself a cake. I made some bad decisions as a parent, but I don't have to beat my kids. I can count on 2 because I love my kids, and they know that. And
but your kid, if your kid's out there shooting,
no. But here's the thing, right? You can't spend the whole life, like the whole child's life, in neglect, absent. Being the only time you show up is to discipline. You don't do anything else. And then when you create that void in this person, and the person while up there, you want to show up and discipline. No, it's not going to go like that.
Who's going to discipline?
Parenting is a full-time job.
Well, who's going to discipline those people?
It's too late. You should have did it when he was 3.
So
you can't do it when he's 14.
Well, we're going to wait till everybody in Chicago.
No, but what I'm saying, no. But that brings us back to full circle. I'm actually with Will's point, right? So like I understand, it's interesting to hear Joel's point, like about the relatable, because that speaks to resistance. But at this point, the residents of Chicago, and specifically this week goes to the hypermasculinity, the whole stuff. This was created by white supremacy.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about solutions,
yes,
it's not going to come through nowhere else but through white supremacy.
Right.
However,
I agree.
dismantling white supremacy, right? Otherwise, you're controlling for a hurricane outside. You're battening down the hatches. But however, that's the case. That's what we're living in. Darwinism. You find a way to live or you're going to die. And that's the responsibility on the black people to figure out how to fix this.
You're going to be playing all these words. You're talking
because life is complex. It's not black and white. And this is the problem. Right? This is the problem.
Black and white.
No, I'm not.
I'm
saying
saying the superior person and the black person the dummy.
Okay, they have made us they made us.
That's what it is.
We are the only people in America. Like this is the difference. This is difficult talking to black people, right? They hate the truth, uncomfortable truth. We are the only people, maybe outside of natives. It was illegal for us to read. And then you talk about, yes, they made us stupid. They made us stupid.
It was illegal.
We created, so like this is where we come from.
And
then we have to deal with the ramifications for this. Like I've talked to black people, man, and we're undereducated. We're not stupid. We have the capacity. We designed math and science. We understand the galaxy and the universe intuitively, right?
But to their game,
to function in here, we don't know anything, man. And so, we know next to nothing. So back to the point. The black people in Chicago have forfeited their right for autonomy. Yes, to live. It's out of control. The military come in and shut it down. It's out of control.
Yep.
Y'all should have did something.
And once it gets shut down and calmed down, and 340 people ain't dying in 60 days, or getting shot in 60 days, then we can talk about how we relate.
Now, here's the thing.
But then we in concentration camps.
Right.
Then we in concentration camps.
It's too late. Right.
Talk about Underground Railroad.
Right.
Hey.
Like, come on, man.
Don't shoot each other.
Now we in concentration camps talking about the Underground Railroad. You know what I mean?
There's mothers in Chicago that say, I'd rather have my son in jail than dead. This is what mothers say. They're relieved that their kids are in jail. You are completely ignoring how tough it is out there.
Chicago's awful, man.
You have grandmothers that say turn the other cheek, right? But listen, grandma, you're not speaking the other words that your Lord said. It will come a time when you need to sell your person by a sword. They don't preach that in your church. You know, and that comes straight out of a horse mouth. You see what I'm saying? So just because somebody telling you, like, nah, it's 2 sides of this sword. You see what I'm saying?
But here's what I'm saying, right? So there's the difficulty, right? I think this is unfortunately, this is where we are. Like it's the horse that left the barn. Because this is go back to like the circle thing, what Troop was talking about. How are there so many different levels to this? Trump is behind this. He's a devil. So now once he gets
Obama was behind it too.
Not behind martial law. If martial law comes in, that's Trump.
Yeah.
I don't trust him to do anything right. So it will be. I would expect.
Look at me. That means you ain't.
Green light
That
it.
means you
Green light,
Why
go.
you outside? Why are you outside? Where you
Green
going?
light, go. Oh,
Green light it. Let's do
That's
it.
where we are.
Listen.
Yesterday, in a half an hour, 11-year-old and a 12-year-old girl was killed. And that's not just one incident. But it's too late. The men should have did something. The women should have did
And
something.
can I just say, so see, this is the problem, right? When you talk to liberals sometimes, when you say you're right, but let's do this first and then this. No, we got to do it this way. The way now, you can't go in there and stop them from shooting each other. You got to go in there gunless and say, hey, I relate to you. I relate to you.
No, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. How much land do we own, right? As African Americans. No. We talking about home, right? We talking about home. This is U.S. This is us, right? This is us, right? How much land? This land is your land. This land is mine. How much land do we own? None. Okay. So when those bodies go into that, because that, see,
there's 12% of us in the whole country. We don't own a lot of land.
We only own businesses. So check it out. So when those bodies go into that ground, right?
Yeah.
Who's profiting? Who's profiting? So why would you want to stop my profit if I'm a businessman, the president of this company, which is the United States of America?
Well, if you stop them from killing each other, then they're not profiting.
No. If you stop them from killing each other, then guess what? We don't own no land. We don't own no cemeteries. We don't own no none of that. We're not profiting
so
on these
we
bodies.
need to kill each other?
No, what I'm saying is,
Well, no. I want to know what you're saying. I'm way lost now.
like, why would you stop that if you're profiting from it? You profiting from their death. You profiting.
So you're
from
saying why would Trump
incarceration.
actually do that?
You're profiting from. We are a product of our environment. Our environment is America. We are products.
Do they not also profit
We
from
are
people being in
livestock.
prison?
We are livestock. Okay.
Yep.
We are
Commodities.
Yeah, commodities. We're not humans. We're see, Trump is a businessman. You see what I'm saying? And the United States is a company, and you are a product. So though you have the heart for good,
right.
You gotta wake up and realize what's going on around you.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. So your plan is to go in the middle of Chicago with 300 something shootings happening and say, listen, it's a business. It's a commodity.
My black behind is.
We're not talking about you. We're talking about Chicago.
Because guess what? I can relate to him, so I feel comfortable there. You see what I'm saying? I can go there and talk and feel like I'm not gonna get shot.
And a lot of people who look like you get
Bro,
a lot of people who look like you get shot up to that.
A lot of people. You have. See, if you pull a lot of gang members, if you pull one of them to the side and have a one-on-one, a lot of them don't really want to do what they do. A lot of them.
Most of them don't.
Yeah, you know what I mean. A lot
Because
of
they're
them.
in a tribal society.
I mean, but listen.
That's all they know, man.
It's a lot
You
of
gotta
times.
change their society.
A lot of times,
you gotta bring them out of that.
A lot of times it's the blind leading the blind, and when you have the young generation looking for hope, all they looking for is some hope, and the people that they see hope in is leading them to jails, prison, institutions, and death. You see what I'm saying? Nobody has really went in there with real heart and been like, yo. This is what it really is. Jordan ain't when Obama ain't Obama from the shot.
He was a senator of Chicago. Before you go in there, though, you got to stop them from shooting each other. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything you're doing wrong.
They could go in there without that. They could stop that without. They could like that type of celebrity and star power and social investment. Like it could be stopped, bro. I left DC in the late 80s, going to the 90s, when it's the murder capital 3 years in a row. But I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you, man. I used to pray at night that I make it 13, and then I make it 15. Like I was terrified, man. Like yo, bro, it was wild, man. It was really scary to be around death like that and think like I could die for nothing. Like kids getting killed for being fly. Like this disrespect what you're looking at. Being from wrong neighborhoods, it was like people was getting robbed. It was just bad, man. And so, I'm familiar with that type of that violence. But during that time, the Nation of Islam came down there, and I said that they cleaned up the worst project in their Paradise, and it was a war between the dudes from Miami and New York, and then the dudes from DC. It was like a three, and it was ugly in there. And the Nation of Islam came down there with no guns.
Nation of Islam is heavy in Chicago.
The Nation of Islam stands like this. This is the classic. I have a gun.
There's nothing like that.
Stand like
I'm telling you, there's something in part but they didn't use no guns. They was out there.
They all are.
I mean,
I'm not saying they weren't. But I'm telling you, they didn't use not one. Like I was there. I seen it. You know what I mean? Like they came down there, they warned them, don't be out here, we're not selling poison to our people no more.
Yeah,
okay. And they came back and they thought they were joking. And these dudes had guns. Man, they was disarming dudes. Like I'm telling you, man, they came out there in their suits. And it's different when black men stand up, right? But together. And that hasn't happened in Chicago.
No, Chicago, like I said, Chicago's in a tribal society. But if you want that stuff to stand up, you gotta.
Those are just mindset. Those are just kids getting on high access to drugs. Who got PTSD.
Well,
that's it.
You gotta
that
stop.
is it.
You gotta check. When all you think is the most important thing for you to have is whatever pleasure there is out there in the world, then you ain't going far. Right. Because you know that's where their mindset is. They're in a tribal society.
Because what they're saying is they're not thinking about 401k. They're not thinking about retirement funds. They're saying, yo, my homie just got blasted today. I might not be here tomorrow. That's what they're thinking.
And my cousin just got killed last night. I'm about to kill that dude. I don't care who's coming here talking to me.
And I'm gonna get high.
That dude's gone.
And I'm gonna get high. To wash his pain away.
And look at this next
like, I'm gonna kill the dude who killed my cousin. My homie got killed last night, and they might kill me tomorrow. You ain't caring about nothing else, man.
That's right. And at the same time, look at my jacket. Look at my new pick somewhere in here.
Right.
Look at this. Look at my lady over there.
But guess what?
All the pleasures in the world.
Guess what? At the end of the day, I guarantee you that person sitting there whose cousin just got killed, who got on them $200 J's, who got that bad girl sitting there like, man, this is not worth all this. Even though I feel like going to retaliate, even though I thought I felt fly until, you know what I mean, something don't resonate within me right now, you know what I mean? This is not worth all this. I want to make a change. But what happens is you get caught up.
Change is.
Can I say something really quick?
You don't know the 401.
Because no one's speaking life into that person. No one's speaking life into that soul.
All right, so let me say something real quick. If you're in a car, the brakes go, and you're on a hill. You're headed down the hill towards a building at the bottom of the hill. What you guys are saying is the equivalent to, I think I need to direct this car to get the brakes fixed on it before worrying about stopping the car from getting to the bottom of the hill, hitting the wall. That's the problem with the logic. I understand.
Wait. You lost me on that one.
You're saying that
you're heading down the hill. You have no way to stop the car. Instead of thinking about how you're going to stop the car, you're thinking about, I need to go get an oil change. There's something wrong with it. The car needs that, but right now we need to stop the car. We need to stop the shooting. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying too.
I'm saying
you got to change the societal mindset of those people.
Right.
And you can't do it. You can't do it by living on the periphery of this and talking about
analogy, I hate saying this, with that analogy, I hope you strap. That's all I can say. When you hit that wall, don't go through the windshield. Just strap up. You know what I'm saying? Just strap up. Just be strapped. And hope your airbags work.
And if you go into Chicago talking about, I relate to you, I hope you strapped up too.
I mean, Guess what? Strapped with what you say? Strapped with the arm of my faith. You feel me? Like I'm comfortable. Right. I'm comfortable where I go. I'm not worried about, like, if a bullet hit me, like I'm dead before I know it. So I'm not even really worried about that. You know what I mean? Like, when you're going with a good heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
my goal is to change the situation, not to say I'm unafraid to die. There's a difference.
I mean, in order to change the situation, you better not be afraid of death, I would think, because that's how you change.
Right. No fact. That's not my goal.
Say I can't go to Chicago because I might get shot. Like, cowards say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Coward do say that.
Well, I mean, you might logically speaking, don't go. But
I'm not gonna walk into a war zone to say I'm not a.
But you a soldier.
Right.
You a man. You know what I mean? Like, you here for your community. You here for your people.
Right.
Like, you going on the front line. Like, what your president won't do for you. He ain't finna go on the front line.
Right.
You ain't finna go on the front line.
Nobody going on.
He gonna send your child on the front line, but he ain't finna go on the front line.
Going on no front line in Chicago. Who you trying to kid? There ain't no civilized person walking into Chicago with a Bible saying, "Look at here, folks. I got a Bible and everything." And they're saying, "Can I read it?"
There's people out
there. A lot of people doing that now.
Doing it right now.
Yeah.
It's just not working.
It's not working.
It's not working. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'll go in there. If someone said you can stop all this stuff, but it's going to cost you your life.
I say it's not working fast enough.
I would think about it. But I'm not.
You ain't dying.
Like I said, I would think about it.
I mean, if I could stop
I'm being honest.
I might.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think about it. But I'm not going to go in there blind talking about I'm going to go in there and do this.
It's not real.
I want to work. I want it to work.
I want you to know this too, man. Just because you don't hear about it on the news, don't mean that it ain't happening.
That's
So
right.
when I hear about Chicago, I'm like, okay, I mean, that's the same thing going down
In Miami.
in Florida where I'm from, but we don't hear this on the news, and people getting the clap, 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 clap all the time. But
Oh,
you hear it in your
man.
neighborhood, but you don't hear it on the news. So just because the news, you know what I mean, is focusing on Chicago, don't mean it ain't going on everywhere I'm at. When I go to Tennessee, when I go to Florida, when I come up here, when I go, you know what I
Chicago's the
mean?
highest. Chicago has more murders.
I mean, what
That's
else?
why.
I got
Chicago,
more murder.
And I'm
Chicago's
pretty sure
broken up
it's
into
more
it's broken up into smaller parts
And
too.
you know what Chicago is? Chicago's a mecca for commerce, man. It's got the brand, it's got the access to commerce coming in from Canada. It's got railroads running through it. It's got giant airports running all over the place. It got rivers that run all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. It's a mecca for commerce. It's a money-making machine. And that's why you're hearing about Chicago.
That's why we should bomb it.
But I'm just like, listen, here's what Chicago is, right? Like, so, I'm not saying no to none of that, right?
I can go to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason, like, it's not, it's a
That was
dangerous
decorated
place
war
right now. Like,
people.
so, like, the thing with Chicago, right? So, like I said, when I left D.C., what is the murder capital? Baltimore, Philly,
Miami.
New York, Miami,
Bromley, Heat,
Detroit,
Jamaica Plague.
Boston, like, look, it's bad.
Back
It's not what's happening in
Back home,
Chicago,
bro.
man. Like,
Yeah,
like,
it's
so
not.
that's why I was like so like tight with not irritated with that stat. It's like Chicago doesn't even have the highest murder rate. And I was like,
Yeah, that was
listen,
so dumb.
that's how you give numbers to lie. So look,
Yeah.
people get people get done real terribly in all over the place, especially in black communities. Real bad ways, awful stories. It's the rate at which it's happening in Chicago, right? Like that, like yo, chill, man. Like 9 today. Like in a bad city, it might be 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It's 9 today. Come on, like what's going on, man? Like that's
Right.
too much, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason, like, but here's where it feels familiar. I've never been to Chicago. Growing up in DC, around DC, there's a code, there's a culture. Like, and I'm assuming each city has it, like their own culture. It's full of bravado. Like there's no shorts. You ain't ducking nothing. Like you ain't taking no shorts. You don't let nothing slide. You're supposed to check it, right? So like if you can't take no shorts. And so if in that culture, it feels like Chicago has that culture.
That's
and if you
tribal.
get that, right, but it's intentional. Like Worcester has that too, but it's not Chicago.
Worcester's 30 years behind the time, too.
I mean, but there's 100,000 Worcesters throughout
Yeah,
the city.
exactly.
Like, it's the type of climate, right? So that's present amongst black men, but it's hyper in those areas. Like it's going to happen. It's not if, it's going to happen.
Yeah, but like I said, Chicago also is a mecca for commerce. There's money in Chicago.
They're making
Big,
tons of money,
big money in Chicago.
Right, and you want to know why the feds aren't in there yet? It's because
They
in
went
those
in there
concentrated,
before, you know.
right? But the concentrated areas, the South Side, the West Side, and I think in the middle, some place in Chicago, where all the black areas are,
Yeah.
it hasn't spilled over into the white areas. It's just like the opioid epidemic here. It wasn't until the opioid epidemic spilled into the white areas that they decided to do something. The second those murders start spilling over into the white, and you see white people getting murdered as well as black and brown,
and stuff, but
yeah,
not enough.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap, and the feds are going to be in there the next day.
Because make no mistake about it. That white area around it, because Chicago is the most segregated city in America.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. That is what's being fueled in Chicago. To your point about the commerce, is being fueled by that white money.
Yeah.
They're getting their drugs.
That's where the guns. I was going to say that's where the guns are coming from.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody
Ain't
owns
done,
some
they get
land
money.
with some cemeteries. Somebody owns some land. Somebody lined up their pockets with some land and some cemeteries and some guns, and you know what I mean. And that's how they making their money.
They're making lots of money in Chicago. Some people ain't making any.
Right.
And some people are sitting back in there and all they're caring about is I gotta look fly, man. I gotta look fly. Did you see that lady over there? Ooh, hot.
But I think it's just
Hot.
we see that and we get like kind of grossed out and like man, you know. But again, it's important that we do like how does a person arrive at that point? When all your value is. And
It ain't a rival anymore. It's like how do you get somebody from that point to some point to where they can open their mind and be creative? They're not having creative thoughts in those areas like that.
Right.
They're living day by day, and their status is connected to what they put on their back.
Right. They consume.
You know? Yeah.
Food America.
And then that's all that's gonna breed violence and stuff.
Martin Luther King, you know how they always preach Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech, you know what I mean? The whole togetherness, right? But they don't talk about the Martin Luther King To America speech. You know what I mean?
America.
There are two Americas in America. So when you say us, when you say US, like who us you talking about? You know what I mean? So I think we as African Americans, it's up to us to solve our. It might not never happen, but I'm just saying what I see as a scientist. As a scientist, you know what I mean. As a scientist, it's up to us to. I don't think no outside influence would make that happen. It got to be us.
I agree with you. I think it's up to the individual. And I'm using individual as a collective individual. If you say the African Americans, it's up to the African Americans who are identify with themselves as African Americans to make that change, to make themselves into what they want to be.
Right.
Not just waiting on somebody else to give them a card that says, okay, now here you go, here's your little card. You know, made it to what you want to be. And it's like, I didn't even know I wanted to be that.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
It's really a sad situation,
You know?
man.
But it's like, okay, I made it.
It's sad.
You can't do that. I agree 100%.
Martial law, please.
Martial
Yeah.
law.
Yeah,
What about
get Rudy
that?
Giuliani in there.
Rudy
Giuliani. Look, I don't care how racist it was. Rudy Giuliani brought down some of them killings and stuff in New York.
Let me ask you. You also incarcerated, like, still a lot of.
Hey, incarcerated versus dead.
They went across the
what
street
about
to
the
Chicago.
okay, versus dead, but you're also not accounting for the children that those offspring, those men who are not supervised or nurtured, that's going to end up in jail too. And then that, like the cycle that
Short term. I'm thinking short. I'm taking short term. Stopping the killings.
Here's the short term.
But you're not looking at the long term though, right?
You're not looking at reality too. Those people that he cleaned up, they went to Chicago. Stupid. That's stupid. What do you think? Did Chicago have some kind of magic fertilizer that grows these people?
How close is Chicago to New York, Truth?
Round the corner, you take a bus.
Out on the subway.
It's all on the subway.
So Will, martial law happens, right?
Uh-huh.
And Trump gets in, and he has some sort of variation. He starts feeling himself,
Yep.
and he decides that he's gonna go overboard with it, and something sort of something similar to like the Muslim ban. And then now this is what George said. Now the whole city is black. Not the whole city.
Mm-hmm.
The black Chicago, the two Chicagos, right?
Yep.
The black Chicago
There you go.
is a concentration
What
camp.
about the last
Now
Chicago?
what do you do?
I'd rather die.
No, I didn't ask you that. I asked you now what do you do?
I'm answering the question. I said I'd rather die fighting the enemy who's keeping me down than fighting people myself.
What
Okay, but
enemy?
that's-
You
I said-
did
okay,
that.
That definitely answers the
No,
question.
that was a belief. I said, what is your answer? Now what is the strategy? Now that he has over 400, 500,000 black people in concentration camps. Now what do you do? You call for
Okay.
this.
I'll do what Dredd and everybody else says. It's systemic racism. We got to deal with systemic racism. It's all about systemic racism. We got to go in there and relate to him. You stop the killing first, and then you do those
He's
things.
not letting you in because
I'm
they're in
supposed to
jail.
bold first, bro.
Listen, Trump's not letting anybody. Trump's not letting anybody
I'm
in.
taking with me.
Trump's not letting anybody in. He's created the parameters, and that's what's going to happen. Now what do you do?
How do you know that that's fortune telling? You don't know that.
I'm saying you account for the worst. So, because the worst case scenario could be even worse than that.
Yo,
That's not even the worst case scenario.
The worst. Okay.
So I'm asking you. So,
okay.
so what I'm suggesting is, if you're going to ask for something as extreme as martial law, then you
Yep.
need to have at least 8, 9, 10 steps ahead of a solution.
As long as it's
Otherwise,
not
you're ready to
extreme
be
killing.
killed for suggesting martial law.
Extreme killing.
You know,
We got to do something about the extreme killing. So
So if I'm hearing this, right?
Why are you making black people that violent?
You still don't snap. We are demonized, bro. Like you like.
No, we're talking about real murders.
we have.
I mean, I know,
what do you
like-
think? What do you think? Is imaginary 362 people that were shot?
But
They weren't. What color were they?
so every. I mean, what 12 million? 12 million
It's a big
African-Americans.
No,
factual
we're talking about
number.
Chicago. There's not 12 million Americans in Chicago.
I know what I'm saying. What you saying is one person represents all. One
In
bad.
Chicago.
I didn't say bring martial law to every city in the world. This is a problem with extremes. You say one thing and they go, you want Libya. You want to do martial law to Libya now. No, I just said
Libya, what
Chicago.
is
South side of Chicago. That's all I said. Just south side of Chicago. Let's stick to that. I don't want to talk about 12 million
South side,
people.
west side too.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about 12 million people. I'm talking about south side and west side of Chicago.
Right. So
Well, what do you
First of all, we won't know about it. First of all, when it happens, we won't know about it. So you won't get see it on the news. The revolution won't get televised.
If Trump stops that violence, he's going to trumpet that.
Stopping the violence is nice.
Stopping
the violence is nice, but if you ain't got a plan to bring them people, anybody up from where they're at, you only do is postpone.
You made it worse.
No, don't make it worse because they're not dead.
I mean, you got to think about this.
So they're killing each other behind bars now.
You're saying no, not only that, because that may happen, but you have the 377 shootings versus 500,000 incarcerated people.
Okay, how many of them are dead?
Not to say none of them, but they're all in prison.
Well, that sounds like a deal.
That is
none of them are dead.
That is bro, that's your solution? To stop murder, just put everybody in jail? Who let it across the country then? Who let it across the country then?
That's what's going to happen.
No. I didn't say
that's what will happen.
I said
that's what will happen.
To stop the murders first. You guys keep stopping. You guys keep stopping.
No. Now we say no. Okay, now stop. Now what?
No. There's no now what because you don't have an alternative. So just let them keep killing each other because you don't have after stopping them to kill each other.
You don't have a plan if you don't have a now what.
No. If you're against killing each other, what is your plan?
I got an alternative.
So hold on.
I got an alternative.
Okay.
It's gonna be long-term alternative. It ain't bombing or anything like that. I'd increase the education. I'd increase the school year to be the full year, Monday through Monday. Every day of the week, the kids have to go to school.
They don't go now.
They got to go, or their parents have to be going to jail or something like that. There'll be some repercussions on the parents. I'd have the kids so they got to go to school to learn things, get exposed to things, not to tushy everything in school to learn about. This is how you stand up and say, yes, sir, no, sir. No, you got to learn stuff that you're going to be able to take with you into the future and use how to use it. And
like law.
Yeah. You're going to bring new schools into Chicago? Because
where
these schools at?
Even if I had to bring in schools that's going to start teaching about martial arts so they can keep their bravado, they can beat each other up. And
no martial law, martial arts.
But I would do that because just killing them, putting them in jail, doing all these things, all it does is shift all the violence around. That's all it's doing. It ain't getting away from anything. It's in a circle. There's no progression forward. You ain't even got a progression backwards with what you're talking about. All you got is a circle because you never have enough knowledge to know where the history was. What I'm saying is if you don't stop the shootings, your school plan sucks. You got to stop the shootings first. Then you worry about putting. Okay, now that the dust is cleared, let's start putting schools in. Let's start talking about why we relate to them. That's all I'm saying.
Let's start putting in schools. And they closed 52 schools. That's what created this situation.
Yes, it is.
So why would they
stop the shootings? Put the schools back in.
I put the schools in 7 days a week. 365 on the year. I'd have kids going to school all the time.
This is why we can't get fixed. Like that is who's going to respond to that truth?
We got 1 minute left.
Like the schools are awful.
Well, you gotta make the school good too. You can't be pretending just because somebody says I'm a teacher that they're teaching.
Right, that's not happening.
You gotta have people that's gonna take an interest in overseeing the process themselves. You just can't put the process in and say, all right, it's like
Vote for me, I oversee it.
Vote for me, I'll bomb them.
That's it.
All right, Troop.
Well, would you out?
No. So you and your shout outs?
I'm a shout out to my lovely bride Laura, and I'm a shout out to my two scientists, Mason and Max. That's right. One's 10 and one's 7. Both of them learn science. Yeah, this is how you do it. I shout out all special ops.
Right. Jordan, ready, real. Happy Valentine's Day. I'll go out to everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day. And give those hugs, hold those hands, give the kisses to your loved ones. Give the kisses with big devilish smiles, like I said this morning. Give it out.
All right.
Y'all tapping in the head.
Y'all
tapping in the head.
Troop, can you ask
y'all
Troy
tapping in the head.
Can you ask Troy what's the password?
What's the password?
Try DJ or 910 Main.
910 Main?
910 Main.
910.
Just tomorrow, too, when I come back, I can even turn the chivalry.
DJ.
I'm tired of racism. I can't stand racism no more.
Did it work?
I done seen it all my life.
So. Now,
What is that? Is that a
I don't hear anything.
Jill Scott Heron?
What's up?
Friday, February 17th.
Got it.
That's it.
At Historic Mechanics Hall, featuring the wardrobe.
I'm tired. I need coffee.
Or 508.
Y'all tap, boy.